She makes $380,000 a year. She drives a leased BMW. Her kids go to private school. She eats at restaurants most weeknights. Her mortgage is $4,200 a month. On paper, she is wealthy. In reality, she cannot come up with $5,000 without selling something or going into debt. This is not a hypothetical. This is millions of Americans right now. According to a 2025 Goldman Sachs report, 41% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 live paycheck to paycheck. 40% of those earning over $500,000 report the same thing. Read that again. 4 out of 10 people making $500,000 annually feel they have no financial cushion. Quick question before we go any further. Comment below. Do you feel like you're earning more but somehow saving less? Yes or no? I'll wait. Or they earn more in a month than many Americans earn in a year. And yet, they feel the exact same financial anxiety as someone earning a fraction of their salary. How is that possible? Today, I'm going to show you exactly what it is, how it works, who it catches, and most importantly, whether you're already inside it. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. According to research cited by multiple financial institutions in 2025, Americans earning $100,000 annually are actually more likely to report living paycheck to paycheck than those earning $50,000. Higher income, higher reported financial strain. That should not make sense, but it does, and I'll explain why. A PIMS study found that 48% of those earning $100,000 or more feel they are living paycheck to paycheck. Among those earning over $200,000, 36% say the same. Bank of America defined paycheck to paycheck as spending more than 95% of income on necessities. By that definition, nearly 20% of households earning over $150,000 qualify. Nearly 1 in 5 six-figure households are technically broke by any real measure. And listen, these aren't people who can't do math. These are doctors, lawyers, engineers, executives. They understand compound interest. They know they should save more. The trap doesn't operate on arithmetic. It operates on psychology. When income increases, spending increases in direct proportion. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it happens so gradually, most people never notice it happening. A $15 lunch becomes a $25 lunch. The Honda becomes a BMW. The adequate apartment becomes a house with a guest room no one uses. Each individual upgrade feels reasonable. You earned it. You can afford it. The math technically works, but the upgrades compound, while savings stay flat. And once a luxury becomes routine, downgrading feels like deprivation, not like returning to normal. The trap tightens because the lifestyle is almost impossible to reverse. Here's the plot twist. The research on actual millionaires tells a completely different story than how most high earners live. Most millionaires don't look like millionaires at all. They live in average neighborhoods. They drive older cars, and they rarely display their wealth. Research from Ramsey Solutions found that 94% of millionaires still live in middle-class or modest neighborhoods. A 2025 Empower study showed that over 62% of everyday millionaires still budget, shop deals, and avoid extravagant lifestyles even after crossing the $1 million threshold. The typical millionaire has rarely spent more than $399 on a single item of clothing. About 60% of millionaires live in homes worth less than $500,000. Warren Buffett, one of the richest humans on Earth, still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. This creates a fascinating paradox. The doctor driving the leased BMW looks richer than the plumber who drives a 10-year-old truck. But the plumber has $2 million in investments. The authors of The Millionaire Next Door created 2 categories: PAWs, prodigious accumulators of wealth, and UAWs, under-accumulators of wealth. And here's the kicker. A $50,000 a year janitor can be more of a PAW than a $700,000 a year doctor. The spending habits determine the category, not the income level. They even built a formula. Multiply your age by your pre-tax annual income, then divide by 10. That's your expected net worth. A 50-year-old earning $250,000 should have approximately $1.25 million. Most high earners fail this test dramatically. Now let's talk about what keeps the trap locked. The Charles Schwab 2025 Modern Wealth Survey found that Americans believe you need $2.3 million to be considered wealthy. They believe you need $839,000 just to feel financially comfortable. Meanwhile, the median net worth of American households is approximately $193,000. The gap between what people think they need and what they actually have is enormous. Here's where psychology takes over. When you earn $400,000 but have a net worth of $300,000, you don't feel wealthy. You feel behind. On social media makes it so much worse. A 2025 Goldman Sachs report explicitly cited keeping up with the Joneses as a driver of paycheck-to-paycheck living among high earners. 63% of respondents in Schwab's survey said it feels like it takes more money to be wealthy today compared to last year. The goalposts keep moving. Someone achieves $500,000 in net worth and looks up to see that comfortable now requires $839,000. They reach $1 million and discover wealthy now means $2.3 million. No amount ever feels like enough, because the definition of enough keeps changing. And here's the cruel part. Someone earning top 5% income feels financially inadequate because they're comparing themselves to the top 1% or to a social media feed filled with people who might be even more leveraged than they are. The spending patterns reveal exactly how the trap operates. High-income households earning over $100,000 had an average credit card balance of $12,760 in 2025. The top 20% of earners hold 35% of total U.S. credit card debt, despite being a smaller share of the population. This seems paradoxical until you understand how credit functions differently at higher incomes. Lower-income households use credit to survive, financing necessities when cash runs out before the month does. Higher-income households use credit to maintain, financing a lifestyle that technically fits their income but leaves zero margin for error. Total U.S. credit card debt hit $1.277 trillion in Q4 2025, the highest ever recorded. The fixed cost trap is particularly dangerous for high earners. A family earning $80,000 might spend $2,000 monthly on housing. A family earning $300,000 might spend $8,000. Both families have roughly the same percentage of income going to shelter. Both feel equally constrained. Private school tuition, multiple car payments, vacation home carrying costs, country club memberships. These aren't frivolous expenses in the traditional sense. They're lifestyle commitments that function like fixed costs once established. Pulling a child out of private school feels impossible. Selling the vacation home feels like failure. Downgrading the car feels like a public admission that things aren't going well. Hey, real quick, if you're still here, congratulations. Seriously, you're already ahead of most people just by paying attention to this. A lot of people will scroll past this video and wonder why their income never translates to freedom. You won't be one of them. And since you're here, do me a solid, hit that like button right now, subscribe if you haven't, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. It literally costs you nothing, but it means everything to this channel. Okay, back to it. Here's the number that tells the full story. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the U.S. personal savings rate stood at just 3.6% in December 2025. Americans are saving about $3.60 of every $100 in disposable income. During the pandemic peak of April 2020, the savings rate hit 33.8%. Stimulus checks arrived, spending opportunities disappeared, and Americans accidentally experienced what aggressive saving felt like. That money is long gone now. This pattern holds across income levels. Higher earners save slightly more in absolute dollars, but their savings rates often remain just as low because their spending scales with income. Both are equally vulnerable to financial disruption. Someone earning $300,000 saving 4% is just as financially fragile as someone earning $75,000 saving 4%. Compare this to actual wealth accumulators. Research from the Millionaire Next Door found that millionaires typically invest at least 15% of their annual income before paying for necessities. They pay themselves first. Savings are not aspirational, they are non-negotiable. The difference between saving 4% and saving 15% compounds dramatically over time. After 30 years, one person has built substantial generational wealth. The other has accumulated a modest cushion that probably won't sustain a comfortable retirement. Let's talk about where the money actually vanishes. According to Empower data, food delivery spending increased 10.2% year over year, from $162 to $179 monthly. Streaming services grew 12.5%. Rideshare spending jumped 7.9%. $179 monthly on food delivery sounds small. That's $2,148 annually. Add streaming services, ride shares, subscription boxes, premium apps, and the total creeps toward significant money that vanishes without providing lasting value. The high-income version of this pattern involves bigger numbers but identical psychology. First-class flights instead of economy, hotels instead of Airbnbs, restaurants instead of home cooking. Each upgrade feels minor, but they compound into a lifestyle that requires your full income to maintain. Research shows that millionaires spend differently. About 44% spend more on experiences than luxury goods, but they are selective about which experiences matter. They spend on what they value and cut ruthlessly everywhere else. That selective frugality is what distinguishes actual wealth builders from high earners caught in the trap. The escape route exists, but it requires answering a question most people actively avoid. What is all this spending actually for? The doctor making $380,000 could save $100,000 annually if she chose to. She earns enough. She just spends enough to prevent it. Choosing differently means accepting that the BMW can be a Honda, that private school might not be necessary, or that restaurants every night serve convenience more than nutrition. These aren't judgments. They're trade-offs made visible. Someone who genuinely values private education and fine dining should spend on those things, but consciously understanding the opportunity cost. Not automatically, because that's what people at their income level do. The automation principle works at any income level. Saving what's left after spending doesn't work. Spending what's left after saving does. Someone earning $400,000 who automates $120,000 annually to investments will accumulate significant wealth, regardless of how they spend the remaining $280,000. Automate wealth. Spend what's left. Not the other way around. The math is clear. Earn $300,000. Save 30%. That's $90,000 annually. At 7% average returns over 20 years, roughly $4 million. I'd earn the same $300,000? Save 5%. That's $15,000 annually. Same timeline and returns, approximately $650,000. The cost of the high-income poverty trap, $3,350,000 over just 2 decades. 77% of Americans don't feel financially comfortable regardless of what they earn. 40% of those making $500,000 live paycheck to paycheck. Credit card debt just hit all-time highs while incomes sit near record levels. The evidence is overwhelming. Income alone does not solve financial problems. Only intentional choices about what portion of income to keep, rather than spend, create the security that most people assume high incomes automatically provide. The trap is real, and breaking it is absolutely possible, but it requires admitting one uncomfortable truth: more money was never the answer. What you do with money always was. If this video made you think differently about your income, share it right now. Send it to your friend who just got a raise and immediately upgraded everything. Send it to your colleague who keeps saying they'll start saving next year, because next year has a way of never coming. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss what I put out. And drop a comment below. Tell me, are you a PAW or a UAW right now? Be honest. I read every single one. I'm Tara, and I'll see you in the next one.